Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to glow when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic, postmortems charming. With the plus equal minus, he was armed for elo farming. With notepad and pen, he built up calluses, escape rating paralysis with lengthy game analysis. With sensei direction, he sold his collection. Read one classic and that was fantastic. Now he locked to the spot where they checking off boxes. Young prodigies and some wily old foxes. 3.5 points per box, that's shocking progress. Goal nearing, cohort cheering, Joe doesn't hear it. He's monotasking, no relaxing, concentration maxing. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. One book, one board, one set, one thought. Work will work, will work, work, never stop. Now occasionally, he peeps the world of the tweet and laughs when he sees the player that he used to be. Blank face staring, complex plans comparing while he's dojo training. Hours a day playing out positions, transpositions, and growing his board vision. Transition from poser to player, focus without a care. He leaves them complaining in his dust, staying with their week-old ratings. Blast past his week-old rating, each week's a new occasion. He never takes vacation, the work is entertaining, the growth he's maintaining. And now Joe is explaining, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, ratings what I'll receive. Welcome to the dojo.
Welcome to Dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to glow when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Geisy. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin, who cheated who, which engine that he hacking. He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong, he scored a like from Truong. He's got lightning attacks on GM, blunders and gaffes, true not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know, welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to...
All right, my friends, we have a huge show today. Huh. Change things up here a little bit. Maybe it won't even be a huge show. I don't know. But there are a gazillion graduations. And I might very well just do the under 1,000s, sort of like 1,100 people who in those cohorts, the graduates, today. We'll see how far I get. There's 30 some, so it's a lot, dude. It's a lot. I might have some life events going on I have to deal with too. I have to keep an eye on. So, in any case, just relax. Just relax and dig in. Here we go. All right. Sweet Blues asks, how am I doing? Cloud9 Sid asks the same. I'm doing okay. You might see some boxes in back of me. I'm doing a little bit of moving. My life is moving around a little bit. Not moving cities or anything, but moving to a different place in a couple of days. So I'm getting everything going. All right. The hardest thing will be moving this amazing desk setup that I got. All right, let's get into it. I still don't like this layout, by the way. If you don't like this layout either, write DM Hokey on our Discord and be like, hey, DM, this thing looks awful, bro. Why does it look so terrible? You know? Kraai needs to get it fixed. Now, as you see, we got 31 people. In general, I can't do that in one day. Unless there's a bunch of people who didn't submit a game, there's just no way I could do it. Baker just joined. Does Baker got some clubs? No. Does he got some games? No. So we hope Baker puts his heat map to use here. Actually, he didn't just join. He just graduated though. So, dude needs to do some work and put it up there. Yeah. But congratulations, Baker. I'll see you in the next grad show. Now we got across 110th Street. This person's done some work. You can see they joined and then have been at it. It is very satisfying when I see this kind of thing where somebody joins, they put in a couple weeks of work, and then bam, they make it. So this is all looking really good. By the way, our tactics stuff is going to get a boost. I just want to put it out there. It's a lot of hard work though, but we are getting some tactics boost in terms of our trainer and the tactics we have. I know a lot of people are frustrated with that, but it is coming. Across 110th Street looks like their tactics is on task. Let's see if we got some games. We got loads, and then let's click on this one. So first thing we'll do, take a quick look. As is typical at this level, we have people who are moving too fast. So, as I do in all these grad shows at the under 1,000 level, there are 3 skills to master. Number 1, most important, not giving up your stuff, seeing what is attacking what. We call that the grip on the board. It's the hardest skill to learn. It takes a moment because you got to do it all game long. Can't be hanging stuff. Number 2 is using your time. As we see here, these people are not using their time. That's why we created this time management rating. It helps you visualize what you're not doing. And I haven't seen that they've hung any pieces, but I can guarantee that at this level, we're going to see people hang stuff. If you use your time, we might not hang stuff. And then third is bringing out the coconuts. And I don't know. We'll see that in a second. All right, let's go into game review mode. Ooh, I bet I have to make a Jadoop. So let's make a Jadoop. We go here. I go boom. 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 Beautiful. Now this one, I'm kind of falling back on this, right? Kind of like way down. I'm way down over here. Well, I don't want to be way down. And then the other one, I'm not so way down. How did that happen? Let's make a Jadoop. Let's just make a Jadoop over here. Jadoop Bellini. All right. So let's get into it. Game review. We're going to mark this as reviewed. And let's begin. Fine. Weird. Weird because we are... Don't bring out your queen early. Knight c3 here messing with your queen with knight. It's not letting me go knight d5. Would be rough to me. Don't bring your queen out early, Josh. Snip, poor move. You take. You could have taken either d pawn or b pawn as well. Fine, you're doing fine now. So white lost their advantage that they could have got. d5. Fine, you could have played d6 too. I think fine. King f1. And now you do this. Okay. Good. I like that you're developing. d4. And now you say, thank you very much. I'll have that pawn. That looks like a mistake. This pawn is under attack, and we should probably defend it. This pawn on c6 would also kind of control this knight, which we want to do. Snip, snap, snook. And so now he got his pawn back, and it's a little terrifying at the moment. Maybe it's a hard position, honestly. The knight's really annoying. Good move. I like that you're developing. Now I think what white should consider is rook c1 and then try to take here. But they're playing super fast. Check. Check. Good move. I bet your opponent missed that. King g1. Snip. This move is very dangerous because you're letting him take over here. Then your opponent blunders. 18 seconds. So, my friends, this is what happens when you move too fast. This is what I'm talking about. Look at the times up top. 27 minutes and 24 minutes. Dojo player did better, though, so I'm happy to see that. All right, 110th Street. You are doing great, and I'm very happy with your beginning work, and, you're going to continue to go up for sure. All right, so let's go back. Grad show. Next up, we got Gary. Jeff Harris says, the grad show is my religion. Nice. That's what we need to hear. So, Gary, it's kind of weird, joined very recently. And even though he's kind of weird because he went down, but he's graduating. He is in the right cohort. Just basically started. Just started here. I have a feeling we're not going to have anything. So Gary, you just joined. Congratulations. At some point in the near future, you're going to graduate again. And then, we'll get some games. We'll see your progress. And we'll go from there. Tell us something about yourself, too. Next up, we got Selwyn. Here we go. Selwyn joined fairly recently, as you can see. Done some good work, played a lot of games, and went up a stunning 193 points. That's what happens when you start doing the dojo. Okay? Clubs, nothing. I look at clubs when no one says anything about themselves just because I want to have a sense of who they are, where they are, that kind of thing. Here we go, Selwyn. All right. So, time. Oh, the tail of the tape. The tail of the tape, my friend. So, an insight of the dojo that we discovered, thank you very much. We proved it statistically, but you'll see it in this show, anecdotally. And that is that as we move up the ladder, we're going to see more and more games where people move slow. And at the very height of the dojo, the top cohorts, you will see if there's a problem at all, it's people moving too slow. Here, it's like we don't have the muscle developed yet for thinking, right? We just don't have that muscle yet. It has to be developed. So that's why we created this thing to help you visualize, oh, I'm rated 571 when it comes to time management. All right, here we go. Fine, fine. Fine. Takes a little weird. I don't know why you're taking it. It's not the end of the world, though. Good. I really like that you are developing. Okay. It's a little weird. Is it the end? No. I'm actually just very happy that you're developing your coconuts. I have nothing bad to say about it. He takes. Good move. Fine. And we get kind of an equalish position. The knight is kind of weird. I don't understand. Actually, of all your moves, that's the one I don't understand. Kind of a basic plan might be something like develop your queen, push this pawn at some point, put a rook here someday, put a knight there someday. I don't understand this knight move. Castles. Now this is a dirty, just playing for the dirty trick. Just a dirty trick. Now, if you were going to do this dirty trick, I would think this move would be better. Try to encourage him to do this, and then maybe e4. And here we're potentially swinging over here. And if he gives you a little kick, we give him a little shtick. Right? Let's give him a kick and a shtick. And we have it kind of an interesting, nice position here for white. Okay. So castles was not a good move, by the way, from your opponent. Let you do this, but now he's okay again. Queen d3 was more telling. Bishop e8, terrible, moving too fast. The bishop is simply not developed there. And that looks like a big mistake. f6 allowing this. And now queen d7 is a mistake. And the question is there a way for black to now win the knight? Now, your opponent blunders here with queen d7, and you find a great move, knight f8. And in the notes, you really should ask yourself, okay, maybe queen d7 is a mistake, but you got to be like, well, what should they have done? My personal sense is that f5 followed by rook f6 looks really hard to meet. They say pin and win. That's what they say. So I don't know what you do against f5, honestly. That's definitely an excellent move. And at this level, they should not resign. They should not resign. Just take. And at this level, the exchange, it's meaningful, but it's definitely not that big of a deal. Discord link is not working, says Cloud Sid. If somebody could help him out, that would be amazing. I am not the Discord expert. I use Discord, but I don't know how to do it. Okay, let's continue to pretend that our lives will never end and the flowers never bend with the rainbow. Boom. Enroque. Here we go. I believe I've seen Enroque before. Let's go read what he says. A partner for complete some task or spar. Great. Okay. He's usually very active. And as you can see, the man is very active. But bam, look at that. He has joined the dojo. He is playing basically every Sunday. And he's just graduating like a madman is what's going on. 660 points gained over here, my friends. Amazing, stunning. As you can also see, he is, every week, he is doing the amount of work he has set for himself, 8 hours, 9 hours. This is what happens. You're going to go up. And look at those little graduation symbols. The man is flying. The man is flying up. So, amazing. We're going to look at clubs. Nothing. Games. Let's see. He's got a couple. Good. This one's kind of recent. Have I done this one? Let's double check. We're going to go look. Uh-oh. Well, wait. I marked it as review, but that wasn't actually good. Enroque. Oh, Enroque. No, you're killing me, Baus. These aren't... I think I remember this from last time. Right, so Enroque isn't... he's not doing it over here. He's not putting in annotations. So Enroque, you are flying up. You're doing great. We really hope, though, we get to see an annotated game from you. All right, now we got Dark Knight Philosopher. This guy... He's done several graduations. He is working hard. Let's read what he says. I feel decently about how the training has gone during this cohort. At the end of August, I played in the Ohio Chess Congress, and I went 1.5 for 5 for the under 1300 section, which I felt was decent for my very first serious tournament. It's 90 plus 30. Of my games, the game against Byron is probably the best one to consider. Well, look. I had a game I felt better about that was a draw, but I somehow got some of the moves mixed up on my score sheet and couldn't reproduce the endgame accurately. Okay, Dark Knight, that is cool that you played your first event. I think for all players at your level, it's a huge step, and I'd like to believe that it probably was a mildly uncomfortable experience for you, but that it will ultimately really produce large gains for the thing to give you large gains in the future. Okay, so this is Dark Knight Philosopher. So he really started 2024. He's teaching philosophy, government, and literature at a classical school. Okay, I'm interested. Yeah. Now, a classical school, I don't know if he means like a private high school, university, or something like that. In any case, I'd be interested to know. Look at the work dude is doing. Really, really nice. Really nice work. He's been at it. In fact, let's expand it. Great. Okay. I get complaints every time I crunch the ice. People are like, "Kraai, can you not crunch the ice? I'm dying here." Sorry. Adult Improver, Toledo, Ohio. Great. Maybe you could do a philosophy club or something like that. Okay, games. This is the Dark Knight. Ba-boom. Oh, he's got loads. So you can see he's been very busy, and I think it was Byron. This is the one he wanted to look at. Let's see if we got times over here. We do not. So let's go game review. And I'll go click and click. So, fine. DC4. Okay. Let me just say, this is DC4 is definitely a frisky thing to do. Bishop E3. So E4 is the really contentious one that's very theoretical and yada yada. Okay, now, there's a variety of things for you to do, but at this level, I don't care as long as you develop. Bishop E7, castles, knight F3, and then now you play knight C6, which at a GM level, we might say is a mistake because you are not engaging the C-pawn in the central fight, and it's not clear how you're going to get this bishop out. However, at this level, I want to say you're doing okay as long as you bring out the people. Okay? A GM plan might be something like this. Knight D7, castles, A6. Let's just put the queen here as an example. B5, bishop B7, and then someday soon we'll play C5. Do you see that kind of thing at a GM level? Okay, but this is fine. Okay, a little weird. But I like that you're getting your bishop out. Good. C5. I guess I would have preferred just bishop B7, but you're doing okay. Just go back. Good. You're doing fine. Now, how did this all go down? Yeah. And here you decide to say snip, snip over there with the pawn. It is a risky decision, but I don't see why not. Yeah. Boom. The question for white, I think, should be, could I put the pig on the 7th? If I was going to be white, that would be the main question I'd be asking there. Good. Bishop B7. Good. Rook D2. I don't know if that does anything. Okay. And now you blunder with queen E7. Now, the important thing to see about this blunder is that you're missing this. When you don't like a move, by the way, it's very important to say what you should have done. For example, do you think this is it? Do you think this is it? Right? Or something else. Even sacking the queen here is let's call it at least interesting for you because the bishops are so strong and you got that pawn. I would call this position roughly equal, but I don't think you have to do it. In any case, it's important to see that you do have an uncomfortable moment. Now, the next question about queen e7, honestly, is what about rook d7? And this is the one that scares me. So, do you have rook f d8? Rook e7, rook d1, rook b7, knight b7, bishop yeah, what's going on? Wait a second. So yeah, rook b7, rook f1, king f1, knight b7, bishop b7, rook d8. And I think we like white here, but it's, the game is just beginning. Okay, so now, why did I do that? Because it's just important to see does rook d7 win. So we wanted that in the notes. He takes, and now he takes. And now we have an interesting question. You might feel like you are in big trouble here, but honestly, your minors and extra pawn are pretty good. This knight is going to be very strong when you come to c5. Right on, Klaus Sid. All right, knight d4, good move. Knight c5, good move. I feel like you are in control of this game still. Queen f3. And now rook d8 I don't like. You don't want to trade rooks, and you want to make sure this knight doesn't mess with you. So maybe rook c8 and try to play queen e8. Just try to hold on to your coconuts. Simple chess. Knight d7. Now that scares me. So you talk about bishop d4, but look, then, that's the issue. Now the rook is going to come talk to you. See? The rook's going to come talk to you now. So I think already it's difficult. Maybe still rook c8. You don't want to trade those rooks because here his rooks are doing the same thing. Your rook and minors are doing different things. That's a little advanced too. But the main point is just to see that we're blundering here, knight c6. Knight e5. And now he plays knight e5. So the question is, though, should dude have played rook takes d8, knight f3, gf3, bishop takes, rook takes, and I think we resign. I think that's where we resign, right? Well, you don't have to resign, but I would resign. I don't know if I would resign against Byron 776, but, this is where we usually give up. All right, so knight e5. He misses rook d8. Snip, snap, bishop takes. Good. He's still crushing you. Queen d1. And now you play queen a3. Good move. You're not totally done yet. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. I didn't want to trade queens, but I understand. What are you going to do? a5's interesting. I don't like it, though, because he could play a4 now. Now, maybe you're already in big trouble, it's true, but maybe king g6 to try to activate is better. a4, he misses it. Ooh, that's not good, because now he gets the pig on the 7th, and now we're crispy crittered. He didn't do himself a favor, though. Look, all he had to do was take the pawn. You take the pawn, buddy. Okay, so look, he blew it. Lets you get this f-pawn. Ooh. And now he does not play. Well, it's an amazing position all of a sudden. You're not dead. Well, I think technically you are dead, but it's going to take a lot of work. He plays king f2. And we're going to call that a trap. So, the question is, as long as you don't lose that pawn, what's the eval? I'm going to go ahead and say you should be fine. You should be fine. Yeah. Now, it might be a little tricky, but fundamentally, you should be okay. If I was white, I think rook takes a5 is the big question, because since your bishop is so far away from El Macho, are you going to be able to get back? Like the song says, get back. He's going to run, and it's going to... El Macho is coming for you. So that's probably toast. This is a nice dirty trick, though. You might... By the way, just let him spend a tempo on it. Don't just take it immediately. Let him spend a tempo. Jason Stoneking's in the YouTube chat. I need to talk to Jason about several things in life. So, well done. That was Byron and Josiah. Let's go back to the grad show. Ba-boom. And now we got B-Pie. Says, this is my first cohort, and I've really enjoyed the structure. I played my first classical games and attempted my first annotations. The feedback from the better players is generous and invaluable. And I got to participate in one of the weekly U1000 game review, which was educational and humbling. I'm not sure humility is in my future. Okay. So, joined and is basically flying up. Beautiful, good start. He's in the chest. I'm in that one. Let's see if we got some my games. We do. This game fairly recent. Ba-boom. This is the Mullet Monarch. I like that one. And unfortunately, it's already taken by the Mullet Monarch himself. We're going to say two. Actually, I don't want. I'll just leave it here. We're going to keep it here. Both players now using their time. Okay, so there's some chaos is going to happen because of the clock. And I think both sides should be happy for where they are in their chess development that they are thinking. Okay. Well, listen to what he says. I've heard the sensei say that people at my level don't use enough clocks, so I took that to heart and was too slow. Honestly, if you're going to have that mistake, I don't even care if you lose. As long as you win slow. I think the next step, too, could be like, well, maybe next game I'll play like a 30 plus 30. Then you're not really going to lose on time. All right, here we go. Fine. Fine. Frisky. Yeah, good move, I think. Now, the question is, though, he loses so much time in development. That's an interesting question. Bishop f7 is possible. A lot of moves are possible. You did an interesting thing. You just said, hey, buddy, I'm going to have my development now. And black must really, truly be careful now. He does this, h6, losing a tempo. All right. Afraid of knight g5. What should he do? Of course he should play bishop e7. Stop with a developing move. Don't stop it with an h6 move. Good. Okay, and now bishop, queen d5. I'm just looking. I know. I know about the ice. You don't have to tell me. I really want to make this work. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Okay. So, good move. And I don't believe... Well, now they're in a little trouble. So bishop g4 was a mistake. Queen d5 is a good move. He goes here. And now you say queen b5. This looks better than conceding the light square bishop for the rook. At this point, I could even consider trading queens as a little ahead for development. But he didn't see this order. Okay, so we should say that you're doing great, and then you're crushing him. Now it's not so easy. Because you gave him a developing move with the knight, too. Okay. One of the things I want to stress that I really like is going on is you are developing like a madman. And so that is fantastic. I love this move. We can debate whether it's the best move, yada, yada, but you are moving your people out, and I like it a lot. Good move. Queen g4. I think that's a good move. Queen c6 is also a thought. He now needs to play king f7, I think. He does not. Queen g7. Good move. Check to the miserable king. And now you get real frisky here and play bishop h6. And you say, my lack of concentration and not using time wisely caught up to me. I should have done knight d4. Yeah, you're doing great. You're doing great. Now, that said, this, if I was black, I would still be very worried in this position. And as black, I can tell you right now, because I'm a weenie, I would play queen e8, get that big lady out of there. She's messing with me. I don't want any part of it. He takes. Now, what did he do? He opened up Mr. Rook. Was that smart? I don't think so. Okay. Now, bishop g5, I don't know. What are your options here? You could play rook d5. That looks pretty nice. You got, I mean, rook d5. I don't know exactly what's happening, but there's some Freaky Friday stuff going on here with Mr. King. The problem with bishop d5 is you're not really threatening anything. And here he should definitely try to trade queens, mess with you on the g file. He just takes, doesn't do nothing. Now, rook takes d5, please. Queen f5. And unfortunately, he still has this queen g8 stuff. Boom. I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it. Queen e5. We're just messing around now. Now we got nothing. Good move by your opponent. Good move. Weird, but maybe. Weird, but maybe. Oh, and he's coming for us. Check. That he shouldn't have allowed that. Check. By the way, look. You should at least consider these moves like c takes d5. He's in big time pressure, though, my friends. Both sides are in big time pressure. Who's going to make it? Who's going to come out of this ahead? Oh, we lost our queen. Yep. Well, sometimes you lose your queen. Dang, that was good on your opponent's part. Yeah. Okay. So, I want to say, very good game. And one of the things that I want you to see is, even though you lost on time, I loved your development. I loved the fact that you were using your time. So, I think you should be totally happy with this game. Don't think of it as like, oh, I need to now move really fast. No. No. This game was at a higher level than most at this level because you were moving slow. All right. Genius. Let's move on from the Mullet Monarch. I like that name. And now we got D. Rus. My rating was a bit crazy when I started playing more games on Chess.com, but it started to level out now in the high 900s, so the next cohort is probably about where my level currently is. Took a few weeks for things to balance out, but will probably take a bit longer to graduate to the next cohort. Here we go, D. Russ. Doing a bunch of work. 40-year-old doing it. Nice. Okay, looking good. So, 719. All right, he's stabilized over here. Clubs. UK Dojo. Beautiful. Games. My games. Let's click this one. Bang. And first, let's just see if we got a time usage. Oh! See what we're saying? See what we're saying? I'm just so happy that the previous player used his time. Because if you're trapped in this, like using your time, lose a game, fine. If you're trapped in this, your chess isn't going anywhere, right? Jason Stoking, sorry, bro. You know, oh, I'm sorry. So I just want to say there is a trick. There's a technological trick for me somehow to see both chats at the same time. I don't know how to do it. I tried. I don't know how to do it. But I do go back and forth. My good friend Jason Stone King was in the YouTube chat. And so he's coming in. Let me just read some of these. As someone who doesn't know what this is, what's going on in this stream? These are all people who have graduated in the program. You know, so we're just taking a look at their profile and then going over one of their games. Okay. Poet, you need to call me, bro. We need to talk. I got plans. I got big plans. All right, so there's our time management rating. Let's go to the game review. Ba-bink. And let's go for it. Fine. Fine. The poet is a huge friend of this, what we call the triangle. Queen c2. Normally you'd play queen b3 here, and the drama with queen c2 is he could have tagged you here with bishop f5. Because you can't take it because of this thing. He makes a terrible move, though, c4. No sense. Good move. And that's a blunder. So it's funny. I think what happened is he might have... Let me guess what happened, bro. This is really funny. I think this is an example of somebody like learning openings but not understanding them. This, by the way, if you're rated 693, Let's Do Habits, you should not be studying openings. You should be moving slower. What he's thinking of is this position. He's somehow seen this position before. That's what he's seen. So here he's like, oh, I want to set that up. Oh, and then doesn't realize now when the lady comes down to b2, it don't do nothing. Good move. He should definitely play queen takes c3. 15 seconds he takes. Thank you very much. Oh, bro. Why'd you learn the opening if you're just going to hang your stuff and move so fast, bro? Nah. Let's do habits. It's time to stop learning some weird opening stuff. Thank you very much for all your tasty critters. All right, this is just a mop-up. So, easy games. Oh, he's just yard sale over here. Yard sale. Okay. It is a yard sale over there. So, congratulations, D. Russ. Now we're going to have BK Finance. Is BK Finance, does that mean Burger King? I don't know. Maybe it's just a result of Burger King's relentless advertising throughout my life. Even though I've never been there, I know that BK is Burger King. All right. Now he's doing some custom task stuff. And it makes me mad. Makes me mad. So I am going to show this to Jack. Jack doesn't believe me, by the way, that people, maybe he does, because you're not supposed to be able to do this unless you're like an old-time dojoer. And I really don't like it because it should be in whatever bucket it should be in. If it was a tactics task, it should be green with a stripe in it. I'm not going to complain. Okay, let it go. Let it go. Big gains here, 703. Clubs, nothing. Games, we got something. Nothing. BK's Finest, tell us something about yourself. What is all this stuff you're doing? You're doing all this stuff. I don't know. One knows what it is. Put in a game. Put in a game. All right, here we go. Next up, the famous Galaga Rex. I like this. I remember Galaga from this beautiful icon he's got. Graduated, I think, last week too. 818, slaying basically since he got here to the dojo. And look at that. He graduated again. He's at 902. Actually, here he's using Lee Chess, so it's not quite 902. All right. Clubs. Let's go Philly. All right. Do we got a Galaga Rex? High Fish. Now, this might have already been reviewed. I just want to check, though. Yeah, I looked at that one last week. So, we're going to say Galaga Rex. Great, you're doing great, buddy. You're doing great. Hopefully, by the next graduation, we'll have some more games. But I really enjoy seeing this. Someday I got to go up to Philly and visit those clubs. We'll have a dojo meetup in there. Blibbabass isn't just non-dojo stuff. Yes and no. What the problem is that nothing wrong with non-dojo stuff, but if it's tactics, it should be marked as green with a line through it. Or if it's, some strategy book, it should have a different color. And when we first started the non-dojo task, it was just white. And I really made a huge push that we got rid of that. But then some people from back in the day were like, well, I have my little white thing and I don't want to leave it. And Jack was like, let him have their little white thing. And every time I see the little white thing, it drives me insane. Jason King is here to celebrate the graduation of Field Sacks. Oh, that's good. That's good. I love the clear, concise, and effective training program for improvement that the dojo provides, and a special thanks, shout out to Jason Stone King, aka the poet, for helping me graduate. There's field facts. Here we go. I think it just looks like my bookshelf is falling down. It's actually quite straight in real life. I am moving though, so everything is, there's things that are going to fall down. So, middle-aged married guy with 2 kids. Dang. All right, here's field sax. He's done. See, he graduated. That's a different kind of life graduation. He sent those 2 girls out of the house. It's time to play some chess. Come back to visit with your grandkids or something, but I'm playing chess right now. Leave me alone for a couple years. All right, here we go. Maybe taught by Jason Stone King. All right, here we go. Clubs. Adult Improver, beautiful. Games. Let's hope we got one here. Oh yeah, this is the famous Stephen Fieldhouse, who I remember. All right, I don't know why I remember Stephen Fieldhouse, but I definitely do. So we got time usage, and we just want to say, great. Beautiful time usage. Now notice, 140 plus 5 seconds, that's what it's supposed to look like. This is round 5 of the New Jersey Open. As we go up, we'll see more and more people doing an OTB game. All right, great. Let's hit the game review. And mark it. Good. Fine. Fine. Poor, losing a tempo. Knight c3 is a little weird, but what do I want? I want you to castle. You say you normally play knight bd2 here. Now, just to be fair, as long as you develop, I'm not going to yell at you. But the issue is maybe later you're going to want to use this c-pawn for something, and then the knight's just kind of in its way. Fine. Okay. Queen e2. Fine. And now you take. Let's say that's a good move, and this is a good move. He takes back with a knight. Okay. Now, one of the things I really like about what you're doing is a lot of times we're playing a game. We don't know exactly what's going on, and we start doing weird things. You don't know what's going on, and you're developing. Beautiful. I like it a lot. I like it a lot. But then you make me sad with this move, a3. Let's read what you say. Does this move waste time? My least active piece is the rook on d1, but I just moved it there. So moving it a second time seems odd. Okay, so what we have here is you've reached the end of natural development. And you probably do want to play e4, but you might be nervous about knight f4. Also, if we're going to play e4, it would be better if this rook were here instead of this guy. A3, it's not going to help, and you definitely don't want to play b4 because you're just setting yourself up for sorrow on the c file. And now you continue with the plan, and now he could have smacked you in a couple different ways here, whether it's this one or this one, and both would have hurt because he's penetrating on the c file, taking stuff. All right. Poor. Okay, we're fixing our knight. Good. Okay. Now we finally get e4. And you say black is a clear advantage. I decided to open up the center, not a super strong move or even good. This shatters my pawn structure and weakens my center. All right. We want to say there is the most important thing you should be focusing on is improving your pieces. And you're asking, what is my c-pawn doing? Well, that's been a problem for a while. That's been a problem for a while. You got a couple ideas, though. You could either play c3 with the intention of improving your rook, or you just put the knight there. And you say, well, my c-pawn's backward and everything, but it's not the end of the world. All right. Snip, snap, d5. I would have preferred queen e3 because you're encouraging the knight someday to land on you. Okay, good move. You fixed it. I don't like that move at all. Knight c5, look at that. So that guy went from loser, from what? 0 to hero. 0 to hero. You're doing great. Okay. Notice what he did to his knight. He like immolated his knight on d8. Now if he takes, well, we'll get a pass pawn. Queen g3. I don't know what queen g3 does. I decided to reposition my queen with the plan of lifting my rooks. Okay, I want to stress you should be thinking about improving your coconuts. Definitely a4 looks good. Get this guy active. Have him do something. And if you don't know what to do, make him a little weenie move like that. You're probably going to have to do it anyway. Queen g3. Knight takes. Pawn takes. You say white's a little better. Okay. a5. Frisky. Does he really want to do this? Notice that he's just made this pawn weaker. Rook d4. Now you're being dogmatic. No. Look, you're trying to kill the guy. He can defend. He can defend this pawn. Where's your advantage? Your advantage is over here on the queen side. You need to be doing stuff over there. All right. Boom. Poor move. Poor move. That isn't doing it. Rook h4 with a cheap shot. Queen f6 easily parried. Rook e1. Now notice, he needs to fix his rook on c6. It's not doing anything. He should definitely consider the move e5. Gives this rook some space, starts doing some stuff. h3. e5, he finally finds it. Rook h5, I don't know. Rook e6, good move. Rook e3. So look, yeah, here you're going on a whole adventure quest, Steve. You're going on an adventure quest, and your rooks, they are misplaced. They are misplaced here. He can do a number of different things. He starts to mess with you right away. Good move. Queen g6. Snip. And now big question. Should he FG you? He decides yes. Boom. At least the compelling option. But now black really has to have a follow-up. If he had... Well, the weird thing is he actually has to play FG. So let me just say that there's no... The simple way for black to play would just go back, because you're not mating him here anytime soon. Now it's going to turn into a question of like, well, what's happening? e4, good move for you. Rook f7, rook d8. Now you say equal. There's nothing about this position that's equal. Rook d8. Rook d8 maybe is a good move. He wants to just shove it. He doesn't want to shove it. I think he should have considered shoving it. Okay, king g8. Now does he shove it? He does. And I think you might be done. Ooh, good move. I missed it. d2. I don't know if it's a good move, honestly. And now we might be done. And now, oh, look at this. Oh, that must have been a heart sinker right there. I hear approaching 3 hours into the game, my heart sank and I knew I was lost. Okay, good. Let's just see what your takeaways here. Most grueling game, yeah. I'm just reading what you said. He thought the turning point in the game was the queen trade. Okay, let me tell you what I got, what I felt here. My sense here is this is a textbook example of, here you're doing great. He was doing great before, by the way. He was doing totally fine with your backward c-pawn, but he let you get this knight. Now you're doing amazing. And from here on out, the only thing you can imagine to do is to go on an adventure with your rooks against the king. But your advantage is in the fact of this knight post and that you're going to get a pass c-pawn. So we need to be activating our stuff with like a4. All of your moves just gave him a bunch of time to mess with you because you can't mate him. There's no reason to think you can mate him over here. And that's how the milk went bad over here. That's at least my little opinion. Okay, so well done. That was Stephen Fieldhouse. We're going to see him again, maybe being coached by Jason Stone King. That would be fun. All right. Next up, we got Playful Chess Mate. Finding the program great so far. It's helpful that the program shows what tasks should be completed at a certain cohort to help you reach the next. Looking forward to continue improving my chess. Beautiful. Now you can see, oh, he's from down under. The poet went down under for a little while. Living with a wonderful life, 2 young boys of primary school age, and a Havanese puppy. Okay. All right. Beautiful. He's doing the F1. Okay, Brad Pitt. Leave him alone. Look at this. Look at this wave here. He's got this up and down wave he's got going on. 928. And otherwise, looking great with, look at this heat map here. The man has joined the dojo and he's doing a lot of tactics. So, good job there. Let's go look at the clubs. The Down Under Dojo. Some people, dude, okay, this is one of my little pet peeves. They're down under and then they put themselves in the Asian dojo. No, the Asian dojo don't mean anything. That's like saying, I don't know, I don't know what that means. That's too much. All right. Games. My games. We got Playful Chessmate. This happened pretty recently. Let's see. We got a time graph. Oh, baby. Well, at least we did better than our opponent. I mean, Playful Chessmate's fine with his... But let's just say, this is very typical. In fact, if you are watching this show, you should just realize you are going to face a number of chumps like this guy Vovaknik, or whatever his name is. 0 rating with the time management. 0. Why? Impulsive, can't think. All right. So, let's go game review. Definitely weird. All right. You play knight c3. Knight e5 is like, I think actually like knight e5, queen g5 is like a dirty trap. Maybe you didn't even know about the trap. But you're just like, yeah, I'll keep developing, boss. Oh, I love it. Oh, we'll take that pawn some other day. And now that looks like a mistake. You take that way. I like d takes as well, just because then you open up your bishop. Good. Good. Frisky. Okay. Frisky because we have to evaluate e takes d4. Now, I do believe in your position a lot, so I'm sure it's possible to play the way you did. We should also mention, though, that the move f4 is a real bummer for dude because we're zeroing in on this pawn. Good move. Good move. Okay. Now, what I don't like about this is we're allowing them to trade queens. But it is true that your position is much better. Okay, good. Good. And now d5. I don't like this move. The problem with d5 is you're cutting your own scope. And I get it. You were probably worried about this pawn. Probably bishop f2. Okay. d5. Knight a5. Boom. c6. Poor move. Or at least that should encourage you. You have these two bishops. He should be thinking of ways just to keep the position solid for himself. These double pawns are pretty annoying for you, so maybe b6. c6, bishop f2, good move. Now he should probably play c5, and that's a blunder. At this point, Black just resigned. He's like, I'm done. I'm done. Bang. Now it's weird. He should at least like make you prove it, right? Okay. Yeah. Sometimes they just give up. Maybe, maybe he really had to go to the potty really bad the entire time because he wasn't thinking. And it's just like, you know what? I'm done. I can't do it. All right, we don't care if they give up early. Fine. That was the Playful Chess Mate. He's going up. Now we got the famous Jared Hall. And he has done a lot of work. And this is what he says. It's been almost a year since I graduated. My initial rapid improvement took me to a ChessCom rapid that was well beyond my actual playing skill. Hit a wall at 1,000. And then I backtracked substantially, dropping down 2 cohorts. I also started playing OTB, and I found that my opponents over the board were much more resilient and focused than when I was countering online. You play Bishop B6 against somebody OTB, they're probably not going to give up. They're probably also going to take a little bit more time. Now, I'm looking at my OTB performance as the true test of my playing ability, good, and online games more like sparring and training. I had a huge amount of help breaking through my 10-month plateau. Blind Bandit patiently and selflessly coached me through the worst part of it, while many other people in the dojo commiserate, commented, sparred, cajoled, bantered, wondered, jeered with the ups and downs. Aside from Blind Bandit, I can't speak today. Aside from Blind Bandit, he's not a bland bandit. Shout out to Fiddler, M. Norris, Senior Moments, Cross Online, Foracle, Cat in a Box, Real Raptor, Scuba, Cross Online got twice. That's how important he was. Knows all, and many others. These guys did all the real work, and I was just basically along to the ride. Thanks to these guys, I had a wonderful experience at my first FIDE-rated classical tournament in Strasbourg, France. Wow. Where I somehow walked away with a provisional FIDE of 17-14. Dang, Jared. Dang. In this next phase, I plan to be more consistent with my work on tactics. If I'm not doing tactics every day, what's the point? I also need to be consistent with annotation. Okay. So, first of all, 17-14 FIDE, that's no joke. That's no joke at all. So, I think you probably end up that'll probably sink, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, here we go with Jared. All right, I'm just going to pop this out here. Bang! Look at this thing. He is slaying. He is slaying over here. Lots of work. He's got that non-dojo white that destroys me. That means he's been here for a while, though. Okay. 551 points of gain. But you can see what he's talking about. He had an immense gain doing the work in the dojo. Everyone will hit a wall. Everyone will hit a wall. And then this has been what it's looked like since. All right. Totally reasonable. Now, let's see what's going on with Jared. We got the French dojo. Maybe somewhere there in Strasbourg. But also the Denver dojo. Northern Colorado dojo. He's got his feet in many different places. All right, games. He's got a lot of files going on, and I want to see actually maybe this one. No, that's from a ways back. So maybe not using. Maybe it doesn't have these games from the recent tournament yet. Let's see if we got some times. We do. So check it out. Beautiful time management from Black. So I'm guessing this is a dojo round robin. And at the dojo, you're going to get better opponents. You're going to get better opponents, people who use their time. And so we're seeing that here. Okay, this is beautiful. All right, we're going to go hit the game review. And now, E6, boom, boom, Bishop D3. Okay, it's a weird move. And you talk about D4. I don't know. I think what you did is fine. Good, I like that. Weird. Again, not a developing move, afraid of knight B5. Yeah, Good. So c5, good annotation. b4, maybe a good move, honestly. The real point of this move is to say you should have been playing c5, and I would like to take away that center pawn when it gets there. Oh, but that wasn't good. So, now we got a thing here. And what's this little call thing? I haven't seen that before. Look at this little icon we got here. Move found, reviewing with another player. That's Jack Stengline, dude. He's the one who developed some of these icons. So Jared's in the chat. Is this okay to look at, Jared? I think this is a great game. Yeah. So this is from Emmett. Last weekend is OTB. But wait, how could it be OTB though if it's I see. Hold on. I see what he's saying. He wants to choose the first one. Okay, we can. Wait, but this is the one, this is Dojo Round Robin. Oh, he wants all uploads. Okay. By the way, everybody, this is a real problem in Dojo Land. We got a real problem in Dojo Land. The games that you do should all go into my games. So, let me just... I see. I don't understand what we're looking at here. Okay, wait. Here we go. Jared Hall's got the link. He sent it. So I couldn't find it, by the way, but he sent me the link, and here we go. So we got this beautiful time graph, and great. So this is from his main tournament. Sometimes, by the way, you have to hit publish for your game to appear so I can see it. And it definitely should be in the My Games folder. All right, let's take away. He says he's having trouble moving too fast. In this game, he did fine. Yeah. All right, so boom, fine. So far, so good. Fine. You're doing great. Fine. Okay. Fine. Fine. Knight h4. That's the first move I'm a little skeptical about. Now, it is definitely a little situation to think about, because I'm assuming you're afraid of like some kind of knight d4 stuff. But we should see that we put the knight on h4. There's a couple of problems. One is that the knight will eventually have to go back because it's not doing anything on h4. It looks like, yeah, you really tanked too when you played knight h4, spending 9 minutes on it. Now, it's true, it's not super easy to know what to do. Maybe queen f4. Queen f4 looks like a thought. Okay, boom. I don't like it. h6, probably a good move. Fine. Now, this one's frisky because he is offering you the chance to land this guy. You do something creative. You play h3 first. I like it, because he should probably go back, and then we play knight f5, make him take it, and then we support it with g4. So, actually, I don't know if it's true. We better look at something here. Let's say I go back. He talks about knight f5, and what I just realized, to our mutual chagrin, is that bishop f5, and now he's got pop and pop. Oh, no. Ay, chihuahua. Ay, chihuahua. So, on bishop d7, knight f5, no possible play, and you needed to go back. After which the game is, well, it's interesting. I would rather be white, I think. It's very mixed, though. All right, so gh4. I don't think that was a good move for him, because now you got his light square bishop and your rook on h1 is developed. You said thank you very much. And now you took with the pawn. Okay, fine. Castle's very frisky. Very frisky. Good. 95, and now you play bishop b3. Okay. Rook c8. Maybe. Now, this is a big moment. And you play queen f2, intending like a queen g3 thing. Okay, I'm okay with this. c4. Now, the issue with this move is that if he takes this guy, then that knight isn't going to be there to do a move like knight g6. Now, you don't like c4, but I don't know. It's kind of like this has been his intention. Maybe queen d7, intending b5, right? c4, snip. Okay. a5, I don't like that move. Queen g3, good move. Knight g6, now you're just up a pawn. Rook h3. Rook h5 looks more natural to me. Okay. Frisky. Now, the question about knight d5 is precisely this e6 move and how we feel about it. Knight f4, he goes for the cheapo mate. Cheapo mate. It's just one move, and you'd love to play c3. So he's giving you that to you for free. Knight f4, terrible move. Fixing your pawns. Good. That doesn't do it. Thank you. I hope you said thank you. And now you go back. I think you're doing great. b5, and now you get frisky with rook dh1. This is very well played, by the way. This opponent is going very high rated, and they're in big time trouble already. You can see they got 3 minutes. Okay. So, let's pause for a second. The concern I would have on rook d6 is that he's going to play b4. And we can't, well, we could play e5, but we're going to hang this coconut if we do. Now, maybe I got some tricks or something here, but that would be what worries me. Okay? So, you do this move, very natural. And he goes king h8. And the question is, do you have any kind of follow-up here? Okay, you play bishop b3. I think you should get out of dodge. Put your king on a light square where you're safe. And as an example, if b4, you've got queen d3 threatening e5, the rook, and this guy. Right? Okay, bishop b3, c5, queen e3. I don't know what we're doing. Rook fc8 looks scary. Rook takes c3 also looks really scary. Yeah. b4, e5. Okay. And then he blunders with de5. e5, good move, by the way. Now you got him. And you say it's a clear advantage to white. To me, it's got to be completely winning. Okay. Ugh, I played too fast the rest of the game, and I lost because of it. Oh, man. Now, one of the things, I kept the time up, too, because I had a suspicion. Notice what happened here is that you're doing great in terms of time usage up to here. And then a lot of times what happens is people get tired and they start playing impulsive chess. And that's what happened here. Because, you know, you're winning for sure, but you just got to be a little careful now. Check to the miserable king. I think you're still winning. Bishop c2. I didn't play bishop c2 because I didn't want to self-pin, and I couldn't play king b1. Notice that, 10 seconds. Okay. And now you play bishop a6 here. No, I think it's got to be said, you're still winning this game. You should play rook here. Check the miserable king. You just got to go here. And then I don't know exactly what you should do, but we're doing okay. Worst case scenario, we just come back. Maybe, yeah, you're up a rook. You're up a rook. Now he says check to the miserable king. He comes here. You say that's a double question mark. And you say king e1, queen a8, 3. Okay. King g8. And now you say rook 6, h4. But yeah, you should still be totally on top here. King e1 looks okay. Check. And that's what you missed. All right. And he says, this is the time issue. I had the time and didn't use it. Yeah, okay, great. Great. I think you have self-diagnosed it in a very powerful way. And something kind of sort of obvious I want to say is that when we go over our games, learning this kind of lesson, it's really going to pay. It's going to pay off because your opponents, you'll see them too. They'll go through this impulsive little rut here, right? When the game should be over, you've won the game. And yeah, also you're killing somebody rated pretty high. Jared, that's 1873. That's no chump. But he got himself into trouble. Yeah, looking good. Okay, let's go. Grad show. Hit this thing. Boom. And now we got Eliza. All right. I'm going to take a quick break, and I'll be right back.
Welcome to the dojo.
Check out Joe, he's a Reddit bro, likes to edit posts, and he starts to gloat when he gets the most of votes or likes. Yeah, he's really hyped, really psyched, cause the crowd is really tight and the work is really light. His training plan is the first thing your eyes see, cause he got more follows than my boy Eric Dicey. Opinions on Magnus, Hans, and Karyakin. Who cheated who, which engine
That
did he
ain't
hack in?
Mouse.
He got blocked by Short, ignored by Dvorak, but he can't be wrong. He scored a like from Truon. He's got lightning attacks on GM blunders and gaffes. True, not over the board, it's only the other chat. Still his 7-year plan ensures the last laugh. Distractions detract from any actual actions. Excuses are useless, he rues his inaction. Awaits satisfaction, the status of Magnus. He bought 50 books and opened up 10. Fools ought to read Psalms, not my system. He's got 30 alt accounts on every site around. Chessable courses keep looking cheaper by the pound. He got 22 databases and 36 engines, 25 chess sets, and a massive clock collection. He bought merch from Gotham, Bra and Naka, but his game history looked like some chess copy pasta. A GM coach that he don't listen to, and if you think it is, then yes, my friend, yes, this is you. But that all changed one bright sunny day when a friend said, hey, don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I gave up on the easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. Sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. Don't you know? Welcome to the dojo, it's good to grow. Welcome to the dojo, I stepped away from easy. Sweatwork's what we need, G. If sweatwork's what I believe, waiting's what I'll receive. So Joe got into the business, stopped the app sickness, daily practices rhythm, he even upped his fitness. He found sparring cathartic.
All right, my friends, we are back. And Eliza says, hello, Jesse and Dojo compatriots. Happy to be back on the grad podium. I like that, grad podium. After a decently long break from chess for most of the year. Once I dived back in, most of my work involved actually getting back to baseline for this cohort. I had to nurse my ego a bit while hitting the ignore button when the Dojo website repeatedly told me I should consider moving down a cohort. Eventually, all the work locked into place and my rating jumped. I hope Jesse enjoys reviewing my most recent annotated game because it really was one of those games where the internal struggles come out on the board and in the analysis. My review for the program materials in the 900 to 1000 cohort. Always loved the Polgar mates. Excited to get a fresh set to dive into for the new cohort. I've been taking my time to really absorb Chernev's logical chess. Enjoyed a lot. On the other hand, I'm hitting the graduate button feeling mostly to avoid feeling guilty about shelving Learn Chess the Right Way Volume 3 because I found the problems very dull. Interesting. Okay, maybe I'll come back and finish it one day, but for now I'm happy to move on to a different tactics book. I want to say, I have read most of the books in the dojo. I have reviewed most of them too on our site, but I have not read this book. This was Kostya's thing. I don't know, but I'm going to put a note about that. So Learn Chess the Right Way. Eliza, we keep tabs on negative feedback on these things, and we're always dialing in the materials. So I will put that in there. In fact, I'll even mention the word dull. Dull. Okay. I try to track all of my chess work, so maybe sharing some of my work outside the dojo might spark some ideas. I've watched a lot of Naroditsky rating climb videos. Feels very similar to the spirit of the Chernev book. And also he's very good asking questions to force me to pause the video and ponder different positions. I've also seen a few folks swear by isolating visualization practice for adult improvers. So I've done a bit of work on that as well with the website don'tmoveuntiliouseeit.it. Okay. The website has some specific resources for folks like myself and David Pruess who have aphantasia, which has given me some much needed confidence about my ability to improve at this specific part of my chess. More so than anything else, the visualization exercise do activate that brain stretching sensation one gets when System 2 thinking is firing at all cylinders. Enough blabbling! Thanks for everything that you all do at the dojo, onward and upward. Mikhailovich, hello. That's a nice green big hello. And Vadovinska, thank you for rating with 19 people. This, my friends, is the Dojo Graduate Show. We review every Wednesday, most Wednesdays, for years now, people who have graduated from 100-point cohort to the next. And right now, we're checking out Eliza, who has come back after graduating many times. And let's pop this out here. So you can see there was a big break. And now Eliza has come back to it, working hard again. She's either on it or off it. There's no in between for Eliza. And now 1001. Very nice. 1250. I feel 1250 ChessCom 1000 Dojo is a pretty significant barrier because my take on it is, in general, about 1250, that barrier is where people stop. It stops being completely about hanging pieces as the most salient feature of how games are decided, and more than about other things. Maybe we'll see some of those other things as we look at Eliza's games. Okay, so clubs. We got Seattle Dojo. That's cool to see. 24. I played 2 U.S. championships in Seattle. Haven't been back since, but have fond memories. So, my games. Here's Eliza Wheeler. And I believe, I'm just going to double check. Yeah, Wheeler versus Singh. So, here we go. All right. Don't yell at me or my opponent any more than necessary. Okay. I'm going to try. I'll try to keep it under control, Eliza. Here we go. Here's the clock usage. Well, that's pretty good. And you did much better than your opponent, for sure. So this is going to be a longer game. Might have been one of the longer games she's played, I'm guessing. So, all right, let's get into it. This looks good. Game review. And we'll mark it. All right, a little bit weird. Knight c6. Now, you could do a number of different things here. I think your move isn't bad. Okay, and now bishop c4. You could also here do a number of things. There's nothing wrong with bishop c4, but I would say a nice move here would be bishop b5, because black is just trying to support their e5 square here. All right, now black gets very frisky with bishop g4. So, live by the gambit, die by the gambit, bishop f7. 4 minutes spent, so it's not like, Eliza just completely went crazy. She definitely thought about it. She talks about c3, h3, bishop e3, queen d3, castles. Yeah, I like h3, I like c3. Okay, so the big thing, just to say here is, well, we're going to see what you blundered. Let's see. And then, boom. And then you miss queen g5. Okay. So, how toast are we? We're very toast. At least, now, let's just say Eliza did not resign. Okay? Eliza did not resign. Bishop g5, bishop d1. Now, we're definitely toast. And we should probably play d5. But it's got to be said, like, d5, bishop c2, And she says, Oracle tells me, I'm sorry, but you're toast either way. Yeah. This queen takes g5, though, by the way, we've all fallen for it. We've all fallen for it. Okay, so boom. And now, I want to say, very impressive fighting spirit to get a draw from this position. Okay. So, even though this is maybe technically a mistake, I like the fighting spirit. You kind of want to try to do something before black just takes over. Reasonable move. h6 was also good. Okay. Weird. The last time I punched myself in my own face for this game. Well, you got to defend your pawn, Eliza. It's time to play something like c3 or knight d2. Oh, and now we're really getting cooked. Rook f1. g4. Okay. g6. h5 looks good too. Rook a3. Snip. Rook e3. Now you're getting fancy. Good. If one finds an interesting move here, I think it's unnecessary. When f takes d4. And you say, one must always remember, I am down 1 billion points of material. Oracle has been sitting at -5, -6. I agree with you. You call this the inflection point. It feels like a move where black simply isn't taking the time to think about what's going on. There's so many different moves that black could do here. Honestly, even if it was just white's move in this position, you just let it be white's move. We're up a piece. Okay, but the piece is hung, and it's true. You're still toast. Rook f1, I like that best just because it would force rook e1. You can trade the thing, get on knight c2. This is obviously also very difficult to handle, but now you have knight d2. After a long courtship, it's time to go. Now, I just want to say, for my little money, if you want to call it money, I guess I like knight d2. Rook g4, okay. Rook f1 check, okay. I don't know what he's doing. King d3. Wouldn't we want to go here? Wouldn't we want to go there just to hold on to our coconut? Because here he could have played rook takes b2, and that would have kind of hurt. h2, checked the miserable king. King e4, exclam. Once I saw this move, I got palpably excited because it lets me continue marching my king forward with tempo. Okay. My hands shook a little as I played this move. Good. Now, what I really appreciate about this move is you're in deep trouble, but you are simply trying to generate counterplay. So this is great. And your opponent plays this move where it's like, buddy, what's your knight doing over there? So you talk about rook b2, that's a good move. Knight d2, also fine. Black isn't going to get mated. Well, maybe they will get mated. We'll find out. But they shouldn't, they should try to keep it simple. The knight on e1 is a very not simple move. All right. So, black plays rook h6 immediately. They should be fixing their knight. King e6 isn't a threat because of rook h6. You could start with knight d3 for an example. Okay, rook h6. Check. Check. I played this move and instantly offered a draw to mess with my opponent's head. Good. And then he went in the tank for several minutes here and then asked for the draw. So you guys talked a little bit about it, and you talked about king f6, rook c7. And yeah, we're still toast, but you are definitely in a... Now that rook is so strong, that things are pretty scary. Okay, Eliza, that was great. That was great. Yeah. That was really well done. I just have to take care of, make sure life events don't touch me here. Okay, good. I'm in charge of my life. Let's continue. Boom, boom. Next up, we have DM chess. And we're going to hit that grad show button. All right, Faugra. Congratulations on 75. I don't know if I'm going to make it to 75. So, yes, congratulations on making that far, That's a big one. Here we go, DM chess. Looks like they have not done much. They've been here for a while, though. Haven't done much. They're now graduating. Clubs. Games. Nothing. So, DM chess, cool that you graduated. I think, I don't know. Sometimes people... They're just waiting in the wings. But, well, DM, some point, it's obvious. You're going to come back. You're going to start putting the stuff in. Put a game in. Next up, we have Skritop. Skritop says, joining the dojo 6 weeks ago has been a fantastic experience. The structure has been invaluable for my practice and has helped me play my first classical games in over 20 years. Nice. Truly rekindling my passion for chess. Beyond the rating gain, I felt a real improvement in my ability. It's also been fun to revisit Logical Chess move by move, a great book with a voice unique enough that I remember reading parts of it back in high school. A few small suggestions for the dojo. Adding some more variety to the suggested daily training activities would help keep the program fresh and motivating. An option on the heat map to display only dojo work would be a great addition. This would make it easier to see how much I'm staying on top of the program while still enjoying other chess activities, like watching your streams. Now, I'm just trying to think for a second about exactly what you mean when you say more variety to suggested daily training activities. Now, we're going to go look at your profile, and we'll talk a little bit about it. So, boom. 42 years old. Friday Harbor, Washington. I don't know where that is. But we have several people. Eliza's over there, Pacific Northwest as well. Okay, so joined and has been crushing it, as you see. If we go training plan, so I think if I'm reading it right, what he's saying is like he wants more variety in terms of what's showing up here. Now, if this were my profile, what would also be showing here is I could skip something if I would want to, right? And it would just, move it down the line. So that's another way, like if you don't like, maybe, it's not just if you don't like it, but let's say you don't have this book, Winning Chess Tactics. You can, hit the little skip button. Be like, I'm going to do that later. And then it'll give you something else. Same thing with review model annotated games. For example, maybe you don't have it, right? Okay. I wish I were decent says, I totally agree with him. My day-to-day training regimen is the same two things every day. Again, you can switch it. There'll be actually, I'll go briefly to my profile. Here I am. And so you see, I can hit the skip button. I can also pin something, right? So as an example for me, I I helped create this program, so I've read both of these books, and it's been a while. I would love to reread them, but I could skip them for the moment if that was the same two tasks, right? And it would give me something else. Let's see what happens actually. Skip. See? Skip. I can do another one, right? All right, great. Let's go back. Ba-boom. This is Skritop. And look at this. This is beautiful. Clubs. Adult Improver. Yeah. All right. My games. Here we go. Ba-bam. This is fairly recent. And we got clock usage. Oh, this is great. So we're seeing here, this is a 30 plus 30, and our opponent is a fellow dojoer and needs to be hexed because this boy did not use his time at all. Now, we're going to take I think I'm going to leave the time graph up just so we'll see what happened on move 48. Did people, two things I see happen all the time, we'll see if either one of these is true. Impulsive decision making because people became tired. System 2 bucket full, they're done. Or did they reach a position that was an endgame and then they didn't know what to do, and so they just started blitzing it? A lot of times we see that at the dojo when we reach an endgame too. All right, he talks about endgame, so we might see it. Let's leave the time graph up. Fine, 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 fine. Maybe there's a lot of different moves that you could do there. E6. A little weird. Queen b6. Okay. a6. I don't know, maybe. Snip, snap. I think you're doing fine in this position, by the way. Your development is great, and you could do a variety of things. Bishop d2. I like it. You're intending some kind of rook c1. And then Stockfish says 95. Notice that both 95 and rook c1 win tempi. The issue with rook c1 is now you have to trade queens. Right. So, snip, snap, and you take with a pawn. Okay, interesting position. g6, poor move. It's not only weakening the king side, but the dude needs to, he's already made a pawn move to get the bishop out, right? For my money, as they like to say, I like bishop d7, and we might put it here. We might go rook c8. Bishop e7 is, of course, fine, too. Good move. Good move. Knight d7. So notice what black is doing. They're going on a pawn hunt, and now, bam, we got him. I think we got him. King e7. Bishop b4. That looks evil. Boom. Oh, yeah. Beautiful. This is what happens when you don't develop. You play someone in the dojo and you don't develop. Boom. This is what's going to happen to you, son. Simple and strong. I would have preferred, by the way, this says rook c7. That's fine. I would have preferred this one. Right? Your rook is active on c1. Okay. I still would like bishop d6. Good move. Rook e3. Bishop h8. Correct. You're crushing him, of course. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Did we miss that? You say kinda. E1. Okay, so let's look over here. We played rook d1, blind spot to the diagonal skewer. Okay. Now, what I want us to just pay attention to is the time graph to the left there. So very interesting position. I would say white is better, but now it's time to actually think. So remember what I said, a common thing that we see in the dojo, and both things might apply to this current situation. People's system 2 bucket is done. They're tired of thinking. They're just going to move instantly now. Also, we get a situation often where people think, oh, it's the end game. It's clear what has to be done here. No, the end game is the most complicated thing ever. Okay? So definitely not a done deal. I like f3 better than rook e1 because the rook is active on d1. Reasonable move by black. Good move. g4. Played 1 minute and a half. And it's kind of interesting, though. Why not just fg right now? Just fg. Okay. Check to the miserable king. Check to the... No, it's not check. Rook c1, passive. All right, so now the question is, you played rook c1 in 7 seconds. Let me stress to you that I would spend a lot more time in this position thinking about what to do. Maybe rook c1 is the only move, but it is passive. It's a very passive move. Okay. So notice that black is more active even if they are down a pawn, right? So we might even want to play h4, saying that that outside passer will give us an advantage. Rook e4 does not look right to me because of rook c3, rook f4, rook c1, king f2, rook c2. This is complicated. This is the main thing I want you to see is that this is not a simple situation and that both players are moving faster than I'm talking right now. All right? And it's very common. So now, impulsive move, b4, not thinking about rook d1 check. So, what was the right move? King d6. Notice it's very difficult actually for white because this is passive. I don't know, king f2, king d5. I don't know, h4, king c4. He's becoming active. Okay. All right, here we go. Doesn't look right to me. Good move. Now he's blown it. Now that pawn is our victim. I don't understand. King c3. Reasonable. But now rook a2 would have been the main question mark. Okay. Rook h1. Now you did, to your credit, you did think for a momentito there. But notice, could we have played here, 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 and notice we can catch the pawn if he runs. Why rook c1 should be our default? Because that rook wants to be behind the passed pawn. Passive, rook h1. Now he could play rook e2. He does this. He didn't learn his lesson the first time about the pawn being a victim. h5. Okay. King e3. By the way, what is the problem? The analysis of h5 and king e3 are both difficult. They're difficult to judge. You need to spend time. It's two choices, king e3 or h5. It's not a 20-second decision. Your opponent, by the way, has been doing the same thing, just moving instantly. If I can communicate this to you, if I can do this, I just want to point out your time rating is pretty good, but you really started blowing it once the endgame happens. And that is very typical of what we see at this level. And in fact, it should be said about the time rating is we only did it to move 50. And, you can see that at move 50 or beyond that, both players' time management was abysmal. So, king e3, this looks winning to me because your king is closer to the business over there. Rook a4, here I have a good move for you. King f4, exclam. King g5. And now, if he does something like that, we're going to have two passed pawns connected. He's toast. And otherwise, we're just going to take here, activating the king. h5. Rook f2. Rook h5. Now, unfamiliar with this type of rook endgame. Okay, so one of the things, this is a very important endgame to know. This is a good version of the Philidor for black. I have a feeling both sides will make mistakes here. So let's go check it out. By the way, can I just say it one time? They should have been moving slower here. Rook c2. I wish I were decent says, did I miss the lower cohort graduations? I was looking for my buddy's review. Right. You could see it on YouTube right now. It's still going. Or you could watch it on review. Okay, so this is a drawn endgame. And he says, my opponent gave me a good lesson on why this is a draw. Okay, good. So this is one of the fundamental endgames that we have in the dojo. And let's go take a quick look actually at something. If I go, actually, wait a second. Let me mark this as reviewed. And we'll go over here and we'll say training plan. And we'll go endgame. And then there it is. There's this algorithm number 3. You haven't done it yet. This is very critical to, test and test again. All right. Okay, we got a couple people in the chat, the Discord yelling at me. So, bum, 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 bum. Okay, Kraai, get back to work, buddy. All right, get back to it. So there it is, very important endgame algorithm. Later on, a little higher in the program, you'll run into the Philidor position, which we basically had in that rook endgame. Pear says, how much to get my game analyzed? Well, the first thing is you have to graduate from 100-point group to the next. So that's not money. And I would say that's the hardest part of it all. You got to graduate. To get the game, to join the program, it's very cheap. It's like $15 a year, $15 a month, and I think it's $120 a year. Okay, so marsupial misconduct says, played in my first OTB in this cohort in the Louisiana State Championship. And he got to meet Hikaru. We talked about that in our podcast. Win 2 out of 7 and finished with a rating of 961. Next tournament is the Lafayette Open in 3 weeks. Beautiful. Marsupial. I bet they got some marsupials in Louisiana. All right. So, he's got a wife and 2 kids. I understand the drama myself. Made it to 1,000, USCF 856, looking great. At some point, maybe he'll make that his default rating. Okay, clubs. We got the Louisiana Dojo. I like it, the Louisiana Dojo. Games, my games. Hopefully we'll get one. I want to do this one if possible, just because it looks like an OTB game. So let's go this one, bang. And do we got this? No, we don't. That's okay. Last game of day 1. Was feeling okay mentally, but nervous again against a much stronger opponent. Look at that, 1491. Okay, let's hit game review. Good. Fine. 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 A little weird, but it's okay. Well, a little weird, but it's okay. Now that's definitely weird. So yeah, I think bishop b5, you're going to get wrecked, honestly. And you needed to take on e5. And so you mentioned bishop b5. And we can't be playing knight takes e5. And the main question was like bishop d7, snip, snop, and then queen a4. And then I guess you're toast with what they call pin and win. I think that's what they usually call it, pin and win. So, f3, mistake, missing a big chance. Now, by the way, let's criticize white a little bit here. What I think I can tell you is that white is playing like a setup, and he's not actually thinking about what you're doing. He's just like, oh, this weird f3 move I saw in my course or something like that. And so he's not thinking. All right, a5. Now we're still succumbing to bishop b5. All right, so blunder. And now bishop a6, which you give double question mark, but I don't think you are losing immediately now anymore because bishop b5 isn't going to win your knight. So h4, and now b5 is so weird. Both players are having trouble learning to develop. You got to develop. You got to learn, got to develop. Okay, so b5, king f2. Oh my god, this guy's no fear. And now he finally blundered knight d7 and knight c6. It would help, of course, if we had some times here to see what the clock situation was. Now we're toast. Let's see if your opponent gives you a chance. Probably not. Or unfortunately, we're close to getting mated. Queen b1, nice move to just kind of end your dreams there. g6, yeah. Check to the miserable king, bishop e5. And we are crispy critters. Now, whether they play bishop d4 or whatever, we're still totally toast. It's weird what he did. Now we're toast. Okay, so, my friends, look. One of the things I want to stress, we're going to go back here for a second to marsupial misconduct. Once you start graduating out of the 1,000 cohort, what should be stressed is that it's now going to be not so much people hanging stuff, but people losing tempi. So think about the fact that you did hang stuff, first of all. You don't totally, after 1,000, it's not like we're totally immune from hanging stuff. It's just that it happens not quite as frequently as below 1,000. But the point is, your opponents and you are still hanging tempi all over the place. You're giving away the time for free because no one's punished you yet. You will get punished. You're going to go on. You're like, oh, these people are beating me because I'm not bringing my people out. All right, here we go. Next up, we have Matubal, famous player in the dojo. And he has graduated a number of times. Listen to this. One of the things, actually, by the way, that I'm really wanting from this layout here is we have a max of 3 graduation symbols, and Matubal's got 6. So I want to see 6 over here, bud. I need to see 6. Matubal says, joined the dojo about 2 years ago, and it's my 6th graduation. Amazing. Haven't had a lot of time to dedicate to study over the last couple months, but time is opening up now. Since last graduation, I've played in 7 tournaments, and planning on at least 4 more before the end of the year. I can definitely feel myself calculating deeper and having a better sense of when to trade or not based on what endgame we're moving toward. I've found a small group of dojoers who all provide training support to one another, and we're currently working through our own self-organized round robin. Amazing. Okay, that's really cool, by the way, and I think, some people have been more successful at finding people at the dojo to work together than others. We've got some ideas of how to make it work even better. But I'm really happy that basically like the people who've stuck with it, like Matt, are, you're going to play some people, you're going to work with some people. Eventually you're going to find some people you really enjoy being around. And look, they got their own thing going on. Really nice. So here we go, Matubal, ba-boom. And look, 620 points of gain since joining the dojo. This is probably where he was inactive over here. Let's see if we can pop out this. It looks like he's only doing his games. He's been around for a while. He's been around since 23. And so here he's got his 2025 tournaments and his goals. Yeah. He might make it too to this next cohort. All right, I have a feeling he's not logging his work over there. That would be a nice thing for Matt to do. Clubs. New England. Boston. Great. Games. My games. All right, let's look at this one. So, do we have times? We do. So, this is the Elite Chess Lone Wolf League. Pretty quick game. And Black has a poor rating, but honestly, look, that's fine. It's not the time that's the problem there. Okay, let's get into it. So far, so good. Oh, man. Whew. This gives me a heart attack. This gives me a heart attack. Okay. D5, good move. Knight f6, queen f6. Now you're doing fine. The most frisky of all the moves. Rook e1, and now you take. And say bishop d6, developing and defending. So by the way, this f5 thing, it gives me a heart attack every time I see it. I know it's not that simple to crush, so, we'll leave it there. Now, does bishop f3 necessarily lose a pawn? Well, let's get into it. Bishop f3, queen f3. Now, what I want to say is you haven't lost a pawn yet, and you could definitely play castles long here and not lose a pawn. It'd be a little hectic, though. So this was your intention anyway. And now you write about gf3, bishop d6, snip, snop, and then f4. Now, what we want to say about this position, though, is let's say you instead played castles, snip, snop, snip, snop, and now they got to do like rook e5, right? Here, I feel like you've got full compensation for the pawn. Notice in this position, the f-pawn is going to be doing something. In this position, it ain't going to be nothing. So you play it here, put a rook here, you're still doing okay. All right, blunder, king f7, exclam. Goodbye. Yep. Check to the miserable king. Now you're wasting them. Simple and good chess. I like it a lot. Resigns. Resigns. Oh, that was great. As we're seeing, my friends, we come up the ladder, we start playing pretty good games. Pretty good games. And this is some spicy stuff here. This is some spicy stuff. Okay, we're going to leave it. We're not saying anything bad or negative about it. We're controlling ourselves. J.W. Pulford. Hit the graduation level during my summer bout of consistent play. I would say it was mostly about sticking to a regular 8-hour a week routine. Fantastic. So, lots of tactics you can see here. And maybe they kind of stopped for a second and then boom, they came back and we're crushing it. All right, let's take a look around here. Clubs, UK, beautiful games. And now we're going to hit this one. And this one's pretty recent. We got some clock times. Now, can we just say, as we are starting to move up the ladder, people are using their time. Very good. All right. So, this might be Daryl's. This might be Daryl here. We're going to find out. Who knows? C4. Good. Fine. Good. Weird. I wasn't sure about this. It's somewhat slow, but acts as a prophylactic against bishop g4. No, just play bishop g2. Develop your people. Terrible. Also not developing. e4. Weird. Just castle. Castle or play d4. One of those moves. Both those moves are right. h6. Poor. Not developing. Okay. d3. Now, maybe queen e2 so that we could play d4 next. A little weird to me. A little weird. And that's fun. This is a very, very spicy position. Clearly, this is what White has been dreaming of for quite a long time. It's taking forever, and unfortunately, what we should say is White would do much better for themselves if they just focused on development. Now, maybe he's seen something like this. The grief is that in this position, I'm moving, by the way. I'm not going to hear these sirens all the time. I know a lot of people are going to be upset. They're going to say, Kraai, we used to love your sirens. Where did your sirens go? They went out the door. I'm done with the sirens. The issue in a lot of these positions is if they take, we want to always take back with the pawn. right? But here we're not going to be able to take back with the pawn because this guy's hanging. So EF4. So I'm saying normally we play GF, but because FE cannot be met with DE, that's our fundamental problem. So that was played quickly. Snip. Now, I don't know about this snip because it's encouraging the knight to come out. There was no rush for black to do that. Maybe knight F6. D5. Okay. Yeah. Now you missed it. You lost the pawn. Stockfish wants rook E1. Makes sense. And now looks like we're down a pawn for nothing. Okay. Check to the pieces. Knight F6, hanging the bishop. Played with 13 seconds. You see what this guy gets for not thinking? You see what he gets? Yeah. So, important position to analyze. I think, for example, let's say we put it back for just a momentito. We could, the position to analyze would be this one. Right, if rook d8, we have knight g4 check. It seems like black is still on top. Blunder. Thank you very much. Pressure on the E pawn. You mean B pawn? I get it though. A little weird. I want you to bring that knight on G1 out. That's what I really want. Good. Fine. A little frisky, but okay. Thank you very much. You should say thank you at least. Oh no. What happened here? What happened here? So, yeah, you were obsessed with this whole thing. Let's go back. So, first of all, I'm happy you brought the knight out. I'm happy with that move. And right here, we're going to need to really consolidate the position. What's the simple way of doing things? Just put a big fatty queen in his face. Don't let him do anything to you. Knight A4, it's weird. And then now it's a little tricky now. It's a little tricky. And but you do have knight G6. True. Now, you're at move 30. You're in a little bit of time pressure. And you did spend a minute here. But unfortunately, now the milk has gone bad. Oh, bummer. That's a good move. He's done his mates, unfortunately. Dang, look at that. Checkmate. Rough. Where am I moving? I'm just moving a little bit away to a little bit. I needed the quiet. I needed the quiet. Okay, so. Wow. A robot has broken a 7-year-old boy's finger. So, here we go. Kraai, focus. I'm running low on steam, by the way. I'm definitely not going to finish today. That's okay. We're going to continue tomorrow, but we're going to get a couple more done here before we get out. Next up, we got Dahish, which might be pronounced Jeesh. Jeesh. Definitely seeking a lot of help from regular tactics work in the books, slowing down to play classical, and deeply analyzing games afterwards. Let's take a look here. Booms. Looks like they joined very recently. Great. Gained immediate points upon joining the dojo. OTB Classical, nothing. So, my online classical, we got one game. Okay, this was very recent. We got a time? We do. So, well done. Well done. Okay. So, let's go game review. Poor move, Queen D4. Good. Fine. Weird. Staying in Najdorf-like territory. No. You're just being funny. Just develop your people. G6 or E6. Probably poor. And now you could just take on E5. You don't have to worry about the queen's right. Now, knight H5. Maybe. Bishop G3. This definitely looks wrong for him. Bishop D3. You said thank you. What a tasty snack. You said thank you. Oh, you didn't say thank you. Why just play knight takes E5? This guy's just messing with us. He ain't doing nothing. Check to the miserable king. Good. A3. Yeah, not developing. Good move. We're developing. Queen C7. Fine. Queen A5 also is fine. Rook A8. Good move. Queen A5, losing time. So what needed to happen? If you're going to put your pieces on this file, you need to do something with it. You could take and play some kind of knight E5. You could play knight E5 directly. Frisky. Knight B4, you say double exclam. So your opponent immediately blunders here with king A1. And let's just show the nice mate. Check to the miserable king. So that's cool. What we want to say here is we want some analysis about what's going on. Are you threatening anything? I mean, knight b4 is a cool looking move, but yeah, are you threatening anything? I don't know. I don't know. Could he play knight d6? Could he just do something else? These are some of the things we should be looking at. You looked at king c1. I don't really understand king c1 because you don't have a threat here, as far as I can tell, you know? Okay, but this is a very nice mate. There's a lot of puzzles like that. I'm going to do one more, and then I can't take it anymore. I'm done. How often do I do these shows? Basically every Wednesday. But notice, here, when we have 30-plus graduates, dude, 31, I can't do it all in one day. So on days like today, I'm just like, buddy, I got to push it off to the next day. So sometimes we have a Thursday show, too. Right here, we're going to do Mullah. And Mullah has done loads of graduations, up 236, has been with us for a while, but hasn't logged too much recently. Let's see if we got some clubs. I like to look at the clubs to see where people are. Boom. Nothing. Mullah. Come on, bro. Come on, bruv. Okay. My friends, I'm out of here. We will continue. I'm going to write it down here. We're going to continue with the famous Tunba. Tunba tomorrow. And so we're going to be here about 12 Eastern. So about 2 hours before our current time here. We'll do the rest. We got loads to do and some famous dojoers in the process. We might talk about some other stuff in there as well. Now we're going to raid somebody. Kostya and them might be around later. Who are we going to raid? Let's raid friend of the dojo, GM Benjamin Book. Oh, I'm hungry. All right, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. This has been the Chess Dojo Training Program. Go check it out. ChessDojo.club. An amazing website, collection of people, and some chump GMs and IMs running the whole show. Bye, everybody. Please turn off your stream, bro.